What's up? It's your boy. Around, I'd say 8 p.m. Whenever halftime was of the Auburn game, I left. I felt comfortable in what I had saw in that performance, and that's my Tinder. Anyway, yeah, I felt pretty good about what I saw at that point, and I also felt very good about what I wanted to see out of the game. I mean, obviously the fans don't know everything about what a good football team looks like. I just think some of the things that we needed to see for us to be good going forward were things that happened, and I'll just talk about that in a second. But I think it's important to contextualize that this was a day where a lot of teams struggled, a lot of good teams, a lot of teams that were favored by a lot ended up in very close situations for a while. Clemson, people say maybe North Carolina should have kicked the PAT. That's a very valid point, no doubt. However, the RPO was a smart play. The P was open. The RO was not. And Sam Howell, I think the play should have been RPO, but not a pitch option. Like I don't think it should have been a pitch option. I think it should have been read option, and then if you can dive, because I mean the guy had UNC's back at 16 carries for 99 yards. If you can make something happen with the running back going, okay, cool. But other than that, just throw it. Do the best you can. Of course, Alabama was struggling with Ole Miss for about a quarter. As you can see here, it was 3-0 in the second quarter, so obviously that didn't last very long. There was a couple of the games Northwestern gave big old Wisconsin a little happy Slim Jim in the toilet. I don't know what I meant to say there. They gave them all they could handle for a while, but eventually just talent differential. Washington dubbed USC. Virginia, just don't have enough offense to keep up Notre Dame. Yeah, I mean, A&M struggled against Arkansas, a really bad team. Oklahoma State annihilated a team that I don't believe they were favored against them. So, I mean, that was impressive. But, I mean, it was a tough day. So, I mean, the spread came down from about 11 to 12 points to around 9 points when I had bet about an hour before kickoff. So, I mean, that tells you a lot about how money was moving and that could have been a close game. I don't think the matchups worked in such a way that it should have been closer to any than 8 points. When you think about the simple fact that Mississippi State's run defense just wasn't as good as it was last year. They just weren't as good overall as they were last year. And Auburn was, at least to this point, looked slightly better than they did last year. I don't want to say much better, but at least slightly. The matchups didn't favor Mississippi State. I would say about 9 points was straight, but what they did today was nothing short of amazing, I would say. So let's go ahead and get to some of these takeaways. I got about 8 of them. Number one, biggest one, obviously, Bo Nix, his touch was pretty much what was promised, I would say. When we think about what Bo Nix is supposed to be good at, he was supposed to be the passer out of the two, him and Joey. And he's supposed to be a guy that could make the tight passes. I think Joey, if he was supposed to be better in any form or facet of passing, he was supposed to at least be like just airing the ball out. His arm's definitely going to be stronger. I think Bo's deep ball was very unheralded coming out of high school. However, it looked great today. Anthony Schwartz, he hit him for, I want to say one deep. Let's go back to the stats. Anthony Schwartz 2 for 67. So yeah, I know he hit him for about 140-yard bomb, which was the one Schwartz just lost his footing and as soon stepped out of bounds. He could easily have the touchdown. He just stepped out, lost his footing. I don't know if he missed any of the shorts today. I don't believe there might have been one that was a little bit off key. Now that I think about it, but it was a pretty good day between him and Schwartz. They definitely was a little bit tighter. They actually did a lot of work with Schwartz. As far as carries go, 3 carries. I believe one was when that game was in hand. So they definitely wanted to work him back in as much as they could. And I mean the biggest guy today is going to be Seth. Seth got 8 receptions for 161 yards. I know off the top of my head, 2 deep ones that were touchdowns, but He had the long slant. He had a couple of he had a curl, not a curl, but an out, and he had a couple of those quick pitches to the flats. Not pitch, I should say, but quick tosses to the flats. So they got him worked in as they could. I definitely remember that. And I mean, you just look at this, throwing and running for nearly 400 yards. I mean, it was just impressive to see how this guy's supposed to be. He was hitting all the easy ones, read the field a little bit. Of course, with Gus's system, he doing a lot of one reads, but he did a couple of reading the field type of plays. His deep ball looked great. Gus got him going early with, like I mentioned, those quick hitters to the flats. A couple intermediate routes. He built his confidence up as he tried to do. Gus basically did the same thing he was trying to do in the previous games. It just executed this time. So I mean, good for Gus, good for Bo in that sense. My second one was that Schwartz and Seth are all world talents. I mean, pretty much touched on this, but I could honestly see both of them. They're both, I believe, true sophomores. I could see both of them going to the league after next year. Schwartz could be I think Schwartz right now looks like a better Percy Harvin in my opinion. He can hit. He's faster. His hands seem to be. He seems to be a better receiver prospect than Percy Harvin ever was. He's a legitimate go down the field and get it type of guy. He has pretty decent route running. He has good open field moves, decent vision, and obviously from the running perspective, I mean, you can see it. Seth, every level receiver now. I won't say reminiscent of Duke. Him and Duke have different. They have the same value to a quarterback. They have different ways of giving you that value. I think Duke wasn't the best route runner. I think he was automatic whenever the ball is near him. I think Seth also was. I believe Seth is a better route runner. I think he used Seth in more ways. I would say that Duke probably. I think Seth is a better receiver, but it's not by much. I just think that the difference in route running, Seth can run a pretty crisp route, and he has to. I think Duke. Well, Seth has been giving pretty good effort in the past couple of games. Although I think Duke has started giving a little bit more, but he's not. I think Duke pretty much gave good effort every play, every game. I think Seth had a couple of lazy games to start the season. The first half of the Oregon game was kind of lazy. The second half obviously wasn't. But it was kind of in and out a little bit with Seth. But when he wants to and when he's on, he's on. Easily the first round prospect as far as receivers go. I'd put him in the same level. I wouldn't put him on the same level as Ruggs. I don't know if I'd put him on the same level as that Marshall cat from LSU, but he's somewhere right under. Like he'd be like a top 5 receiver in conference at the very least. I'd put him over Smith that went off today from Alabama. I may put him over. Which one is the Ruggs and Judy are like both also around the same level. I think Judy is the one going the first 6 picks and Ruggs is the one going in the first round. I may put him somewhere around Ruggs, but Judy is like supposed to be a Julio level. So I mean, what can I say? I know people don't want to hear Alabama talk, but that's just my comparison. Also, Canella had one fantastic comeback, break off the route and come back to the ball. Also had an easier catch in another situation. Guys has been everything you want out of him as far as a big paws, big body receiver. But his speed has been better. His route running has been better. His hands have obviously been much better than his first year here, and it's only improved, I guess, since then. And he's getting opportunities. I could speak about Gus, I guess, a little bit more, but that's not one of my takeaways. Number 4 offensive line looked great. I put serviceable. I'd be somewhere before serviceable and great. The backup unit, even though you knew running was coming, I still felt the backup unit could have been a lot better. They kind of let Joey get disturbed a little bit, which kind of messed up the flow with that. But I mean, you can't really judge the offensive line back on the number 2 unit. I think against a team that, while they lost most of their best players, was still like a decent defense. They killed Mississippi State. They annihilated them against what was a decent defense. Again, decent. They made it to where the running game for the quarterback was almost always there. They made the edges viable. I don't think he did fantastic, but on a lot of those plays that end up going for like 10, 15, 20 yards, that were quick hitters. Off the top of my head, the Schwartz, uh, which I think it was the speeds could be scored off of. That's what I'm thinking of in my head. The speeds could be scored off of. That was all of them. The Wildcat Jatarvius play, that was all of them. The a couple of those bowl off tackle runs, they helped set that up. Um, and then one of the Cam runs they took for a little bit more of length. I know one was a touchdown, he took for like 10 yards, but another one I'm thinking about, they helped him out there. So they really did do a decent job of opening things up. I think they're still far from even great, I would say, but they're farther along than they were against Tulane, I'd say. So just moving on from that, let's see what else do I have here. That was number 4, right? So this is number 5. Secondary is Buns. I thought the secondary looked bad, to be honest with you. This says 12 of 23 for 209 yards and 9.1 YP attempt, but that could easily been higher. They missed one, or Schrader missed one that was an easy pitch to a guy that was about 5, 6 steps on the DB, which isn't the first time I've seen that. It happened exactly the same way against Tulane. These guys on post routes are just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. They play a lot of man, so, you mess up a little bit of man off the line, and, it's going to happen. But it's too many times where I just see, like, these guys just give up easy, deep passes. And I know they had a little bit harder this time around because they had to look in the backfield and check on Schrader and make sure he's not hitting the edges or in the second level. I understand that. But, against, like, Tua or against whoever you've seen in the playoffs, Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow can run a little bit, but, that's not ideally who you're comparing. You say people can run. Burrow and Fromm are... I would say Burrow's closer to a dual threat than Fromm, but Fromm is also kind of pocket passer in build. But against a Tua, you're going to have the ability to look back in the backfield and also kind of keep up with your man, not be 50 steps behind. I need to see a little bit more at the secondary. I felt the same way about them for a while now. They kind of made it to where Mon couldn't really get a good look to eat up long passes in that game until it was too late. But they need to be a little bit better, I feel like. And to go along with that, number 6, the pass rush has done a bad job of completing sacks. So I don't know if it'll say necessarily the sacks that we've accumulated in this game. So yeah, only 2 sacks. Again, I guess a guy that's that quick as Schrader is, decisive as he is, that should be expected. But you can't, like, 2 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. That's you just need more than that. We're getting pressure. Don't get me wrong. We're getting defensive line pressure. We're getting front 7 pressure. But I don't think we're doing a good job of completing sacks. Notwithstanding the A&M game, I don't think we're doing a good job of getting sacks. I just need to see more out of that. I saw a lot of plays, a lot of third down plays also, where like they'd have Schrader 8 up and like he just found somebody over the middle that's open because he just basically shrugged off an edge rusher, or an edge rusher like got just shook. And Schrader's nice, but there's other dual threat quarterbacks who have to play. And I'll also be able to emulate that with much better talent. So that's just something to keep in mind. Ball security has to be way better. As it seems, I know we didn't throw any picks, and I know that we didn't catch any picks. We dropped a lot. So the turnover discrepancy would be between fumbles, where they lost 2 and we lost 3. We could have lost. I feel like we kind of were gimmicky with the ball quite often. It felt like that to me. And then just kind of bad situation, like Malik Miller breaking on Joey's first series and just kind of ruining the vibe, because they were actually letting Joey play, and then Malik fumbles and they're like, nah, forget that. I believe Seth got creamed on his fumble. There's something. I know he was going forward, and like 3 or 4 Mississippi State players came and like kind of just ate him up, and that was what happened. Shivers, that was a bad fumble. Bo, I knew Bo was going to end up fumbling when he got, the guy that was behind him was clearly going to hawk him down. And I mean, it was obvious that Bo was gonna fumble if he got hit, but at least Bo had this ball security or the ball knowledge to know to put the ball on the right side, and it went out of bounds, thankfully. But yeah, ball security has been pretty bad for a couple of weeks now. Not many picks being thrown. In fact, I don't think we've thrown any with Bo. I don't think any with. I mean, Joey's only thrown the ball like 4 times in the past 3 weeks. I mean, you know, but I think they definitely do a better job of keeping the ball as far as fumbles go because Gus can get frigid on those things. He can get frigid on as far as fumbles go, and if he can't run the ball, I mean, we've seen what Gus can do when he can't throw the ball. It's a scary thing that you don't want to see very often. And final one, I still don't see it as far as Christian Tutt's punt returning ability. A lot of people are like, oh, Christian Tutt, he's always so close to breaking one. And you know what? I'll even agree with you. I can see where his ability to run is good. His ability to kind of bust a move in the open field. I see that. I just don't see his vision. I don't think he can visibly see where he needs to go as far as those punt returns go because it's pretty much the same thing. I feel more often than not where like there will be a lane and he'll catch the ball and he'll like make the inappropriate move to access that lane. Like he may like do a juke, right? Like a juke that ends up slowing him down, and then he can't hit top speed to actually hit that lane. Or it'll be a little spin off a guy where he spins off into more defenders. I think his vision only stopped him from being a dangerous guy. Like, even then, I can't be mad. 10 attempts for 166 yards. 16 per. That's not bad necessarily, but I mean, one of these is a 41. So I mean, that's like what 9 for 125 or something like that. I guess I mean just like there's a couple of ones that made him look more promising statistically than I believe it's been. On average, I feel like he's not flipping the field as well as you would like, but he's not. He's only had. I think he had. I think today he did have a fumble after the fact. Like he kind of was like out of bounds and like he kind of dropped it on the way out of bounds. So he's not necessarily a necessity, a liability, but he's not the weapon he can be if when he gets his vision up. And yeah, that's just my takeaways. I'm not sure how long this video has been going, but I did try to make it a little bit shorter. And just trying to talk about the big things. Next week it'll be presumably. I don't believe anybody above us had a really like ugly game except Clemson, but we won't be moving up that far, and they won't be moving Clemson down this far. So more than likely we'll stay number 7. Wisconsin had a pretty. I mean, they did good enough against a decent enough opponent to where I don't think they'll be dropping. So Florida will probably stay at 9. And I would presume more than likely that whoever wins this game will more Auburn than Florida. I think if Auburn won, they'd probably go up to number 3. I could see them hopping LSU. That makes sense to me. I can't see them letting us hop Georgia after a top 9 win, top 10 win. They won't let us hop Alabama even though they've played nobody. They won't let us hop Clemson even though they played nobody. I guess A&M, but I mean like, come on. So yeah, I mean we'll probably be at best like 3rd if we won this, but the most important thing is that it gives you another SEC win as a buffer, and it gives you another ranked win as a buffer in case we do lose to say LSU. That gives you a little more wiggle room to work with as far as the polls go, and especially as far as these championship conversations happen. But that's about it for me today. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the game. Auburn looks really interesting right now. The basketball team got a lot of promo in this game. And the football team is looking to be exactly what we want out of Gus for the past 2-3 years now. 4-5 years now. So, peace.